The hardest part about telling this story is knowing where it truly began. Was it on that summer afternoon, when the sun clung to my skin like a memory I could never wash away? Or was it years earlier, when my marriage had quietly started to die, one unanswered phone call and one lonely night at a time? All I know is this: one moment of weakness changed everything. My name is Clara Mitchell. To the outside world, I was the picture-perfect wife and mother, 42 years old, auburn hair that still turned heads, living in a beautiful colonial-style home in suburban Connecticut. My husband, Daniel, was a successful corporate lawyer, sharp, polished, and admired by everyone who knew him. And then there was Ethan, my stepson. At 21, he was caught in that strange limbo between boy and man. Green eyes like his father's, quiet but observant, and a presence in my home that both comforted and unsettled me. To neighbors, we were the American dream. But inside our home, I was disappearing. Daniel was always gone, late nights at the office, weekends swallowed by conference calls, weeks lost to international trips. I had grown accustomed to falling asleep alone, to cooking dinner for 3 when it should have been 4, to being invisible. Loneliness wasn't just an ache anymore, it was the very air I breathed. That summer day began like so many others. Daniel rushed past me in the kitchen, muttering about a big case, his briefcase in one hand, his tie slightly askew. "Sorry, Clara," he said without even meeting my eyes. "I'll make it up to you." He didn't. He never did. By the time the door slammed shut behind him, I already knew he wouldn't be joining us at the beach. It would be just Ethan and me. I tried to shake off the disappointment, tried to pretend it didn't sting that my husband hadn't kissed me goodbye. But Ethan was already waiting by the car, earbuds in, his jaw set in that guarded expression he wore more and more these days. "Just us today," I said, forcing a brightness into my voice I didn't feel. He only shrugged, loading the bags into the trunk without a word. The drive to the coast stretched on in silence, the hum of the radio the only sound between us. I couldn't stop thinking about the past, the way Daniel and I used to spend nights watching old movies, or taking long drives just to get lost together. Those memories felt like they belonged to another woman entirely. When we reached the beach, I was grateful for the quiet seclusion of that little stretch of sand, tucked away between the dunes. For once, the noise of the world faded, leaving only the crash of the waves. Ethan helped me lay out the towels, his movements efficient but distant. I lay down on mine, face turned to the sun, trying to let its warmth melt the heaviness I carried. For a moment, I let myself pretend I wasn't lonely. That someone still saw me. That I was more than just a ghost moving through the halls of my own home. "Ethan," I said softly after a while, holding out the sunscreen. "Can you help me with my back?" He hesitated. I noticed it, the flicker in his eyes, the pause in his breath. But then he nodded, taking the bottle and kneeling beside me. At first, his touch was tentative, almost clinical. Cool hands against sun-warmed skin. But when I told him gently, "It's okay, you can press harder," something shifted. His hands grew firmer, moving in slow circles across my shoulders, down my spine. It was such a small thing, and yet it unraveled me. Because it had been so long since anyone had touched me with care. Since anyone had noticed I was there at all. My heart raced with guilt even as I told myself it was innocent. Just a back rub. Just a simple kindness. But the truth was harder to deny when his hands lingered too long, when his breath caught in sync with mine, when the line between comfort and something more blurred like ink bleeding across paper. I should have stopped it. I should have pulled away. Instead, I whispered, "It's okay, keep going." Those words changed everything. The ride home was suffocating. Silence pressed heavy between us, filled with truths neither of us dared to speak aloud. Ethan stared out the window, jaw clenched, while I gripped the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. My mind replayed the moment over and over, the heat of his hands, the electricity between us, the way I hadn't stopped him. When we pulled into the driveway, neither of us moved. And then, in a voice so low I almost missed it, Ethan asked, "Clara, what was that?" My throat closed. I wanted to lie, to brush it off, but the truth slipped out instead. "I don't know. But I did know. And so did he." That night, when the house was quiet and Daniel was once again absent, We crossed a line we could never uncross. His kiss was hesitant at first, but I didn't pull away. My hands trembled when they touched his face. Every part of me screamed that it was wrong, but for the first time in years, I felt alive. Seen. Wanted. The days that followed were a blur of guilt and stolen moments. Cooking dinner, folding laundry, smiling for Lily, my daughter, while pretending everything was normal. But nothing was normal anymore. Not when Ethan's eyes lingered on mine across the room, not when I found myself searching for excuses to be near him. Loneliness had led me into a storm I couldn't escape. And every secret touch, every whispered word, pulled me deeper into the darkness. But secrets have weight. They grow heavier with time. I began to see it in Ethan too, the way he avoided his friends, the tension in his shoulders, the haunted look in his eyes when Daniel was home. One night, after weeks of carrying the unbearable, I finally found the strength to say what I should have said all along. Sitting in the kitchen with 2 untouched cups of tea between us, I looked him in the eye and said, "Ethan, what we've done, it's wrong. I should have protected you from this, not pulled you into it." He swallowed hard, his voice shaking when he answered, "I wanted it too." That cut deeper than any blade. Because maybe he did. Maybe we both did. But I was the adult. I was supposed to know better. That night, I made a choice. To end it. To pull us both out of the fire before it consumed us. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. Even now, years later, I can still feel the scorch of that summer sun, the weight of his hands, the heat of choices I can't undo. But I tell this story because loneliness is dangerous. Because silence can destroy a family as surely as betrayal. And because one moment of weakness can unravel everything you thought you were. And maybe, just maybe, if someone hears my story, they'll find the strength to stop before the line blurs, before the secret grows too heavy, before it's too late.